and is very happy. He tells the cinema owner that this last Molly is his wife, Molly. He starts asking the man about the coordinates of her world. The owner says it happened quickly and he can't determine them. Kevin begs him, but the owner says he can't because the broadcast determines the location. Since Kevin left the room, the broadcast stopped and the location can't be pinpointed. Kevin tells him he'll come back to restart the broadcast. The cinema owner says his chances are slim because there are so many worlds, but Kevin insists, convincing him to help. The owner says even if he helps and determines the world, Kevin won't be able to go without the device the transporters have. Kevin likes the idea, but the owner says he was joking because it's impossible. Kevin tells him to be ready because when he returns, he'll be in a hurry. Kevin leaves and decides to go to the place mentioned in the news for citizens. He meets Gabriel and asks for a gun. Gabriel gives him his gun. The next day, Kevin goes to the place and sees the shepherd walking, followed by another version of Kevin wearing the clothes from the accident at the beginning of the film. The guards are busy with the citizens, so Kevin sneaks into the shepherd's location. He enters but finds the shepherd disappearing and himself in his room. He exits and finds himself back at the restaurant door with the guards approaching. When he enters, he returns to his room, confused. He steps out and sees the shepherd reappear, with guards shooting at him. He gets injured in his arm and enters his room, confused about what's happening. He peeks out the door and finds a gun pointed at him. He quickly retreats, unsure of what to do. He throws the gun and stays inside his room, feeling very sad and upset. We see him breaking everything in sight and crying. Suddenly, the shepherd appears and talks to him, holding the gun and asking where he got it. Then he says, "It doesn't matter. He already knows." Suddenly, Gabriel appears out of nowhere, also surprised. The shepherd asks him if the gun is his. Gabriel denies knowing Kevin and says the gun isn't his. The shepherd tells Kevin, "This is the person you trusted and gave your writings to." He tells Kevin, "Last time, you prayed to God, and he answered, but it won't happen every time." He offers to cooperate with Kevin, promising to fulfill all his wishes. Kevin asks about his son when he was transported to another world, but the shepherd doesn't answer. At that moment, Kevin hears soldiers knocking on his neighbor's door. He goes out and sees them shooting. He quickly runs back to his room. While sleeping in the corner, he tells Gabriel to sleep too, but he doesn't make it in time and gets shot and dies. Kevin is hiding and discovers that Gabriel is one of the transporters when he sees the device in his hand. He is shocked and then goes to take it, but gets injured in his hand and starts bleeding. Kevin activates the device and suddenly finds himself transported to another world in a vast desert. He tries to activate the device again, but it starts malfunctioning, so he hits it. We then see him in the lake where he was at the beginning of the movie. After that, he presses the device and finds himself in another world inside a medicine storage room. When he leaves, he discovers that he is in a mental hospital. He walks through the hospital and meets Gabriel, who had died in the other world. Gabriel has a gun and wants to kill him. Kevin sees multiple versions of Gabriel, all of whom want to kill him, so he tries to escape from them. While walking, he sees Tina, who had disappeared from the restaurant and was a patient in the hospital. He enters and sits with her, trying to talk to her, and she seems aware. She is clearly in shock from being sent from her original world to the one she is in now. She starts asking him to take her back to her world. He tells her that he cannot help her because he doesn't know how to return her. The nurses grab her, and at that moment, as they are talking, Gabriel arrives and shoots at Kevin. Kevin presses the device and goes to another world. This time, he is in a house and sees a version of himself who is a gang leader or a criminal. When the original Kevin sees him, he is shocked. The criminal Kevin is very upset because the original Kevin has entered his world. He tries to kill the original Kevin and take the device from him. However, Kevin hides under the table, and when the criminal Kevin reaches him, he has already disappeared. We then see him back in the world he was in before, where he sees his neighbor, who was his co-worker, being transported in an ambulance, injured. Kevin is spotted by one of the people around, who recognizes him. The forces start attacking him, and he escapes. They search for him, and he goes to the cinema, sits with the device, and activates it to determine the world he came from. He keeps flipping through quickly as the forces arrive. He manages to reach his world and begins to input the coordinates of his world using the device. At the last moment, he successfully enters the coordinates and returns to his original world. He finds Molly and talks to her, but her reaction is strange. She doesn't want to talk to him and tells him that they separated a while ago and that it was his decision. He tells her that it wasn't him, but she doesn't believe him. She shocks him by saying that she has moved on and is with someone else now. He tries to explain to her, but she doesn't understand the situation. She tries to hide the necklace, but he asks her why she's still wearing it. She tells him that it gives her hope that they might be with their son again someday. He tells her that he wishes time could go back so he could change everything that happened to them. At that moment, the shepherd arrives, grabs him, and takes him to the world again. When Kevin tries to press the device, he gets shot, and it breaks. The shepherd talks to him and brings Tina, who was in the mental hospital. Kevin tells him to leave her alone. The shepherd tells him that he's always fighting him and that he knows he's fighting himself. He also says that Kevin wants to be someone other than who he really is. In the middle of the conversation, Kevin asks and learns that the shepherd was responsible for his son's disappearance. We see Molly crying after their son disappeared. The shepherd says that despite Kevin's rough appearance, it's clear that Molly still loves him. The shepherd offers Kevin a choice, to bring Molly back to him or to return Tina to her family. Kevin must choose one of the two. At that moment, Kevin is torn. The shepherd tries to convince him to think about himself and return to Molly, promising to take care of Tina and ensure she isn't mistreated in the hospital. However, Kevin refuses, and we see the shock on the shepherd's face. Kevin tells him he's a liar. The shepherd then starts saying things that, to them, are polytheistic. He tells Kevin to look at how God lets him do whatever he wants to Kevin, Tina, and everyone else, and yet doesn't stop him. Kevin responds to the shepherd, saying that there may be a lot of evil, horror, and betrayal in the world, but there is also kindness, goodness, hope, and many beautiful things. He tells him that God is everywhere, and that everything the shepherd has done, and everything Kevin has been through, only strengthens his belief in God's existence. At that moment, we see the shepherd unable to respond. The shepherd gives Kevin the choice again between his wife and Tina. Kevin chooses Tina and bids farewell to Molly. We see Tina reunited with her family. The shepherd becomes angry, takes the gun from Gabriel, and as he's about to kill Kevin, burns. Afterward, Kevin falls into a coma. When he wakes up, he sees himself in the mirror without any injuries, and the wedding ring is no longer on his finger. We see Molly sitting in a bar, sad. Kevin sits next to her and realizes she is a version of Molly, a nurse, who was talking to her mother and daughter. He asks her daughter's name, and she tells him it's Lucy. He tells her about his son, saying his name was Daniel. He invites her for tea, and she agrees. We see them get married and live a happy life together. Lucy grows up and they have a son, whom they name Daniel. Kevin says that this isn't his world, but it is certainly his home. The movie ends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell to stay updated.